Welcome to the Tea Party with Marty Abernathy, a show starring a binary trans woman born in the body of a non-binary atheist, trade unionist, equality advocate, and anarcho syndicalist that self-identifies as an unhinged fear pimp, outraged brigade commander, Breeze Peach police officer, SJW, and a bad faith agent of chaos.
Oh dear. I didn't even have my mic on. God, I'm so ready for the show. Don't you know it? Anyways. Oh, what an evening. I just realized I didn't have stereo either in my anyways. Welcome to the Tea Party, everybody. Apparently, I am very envious of everyone. Let's just get that out of the way. I'm jealous of everybody and everyone. That's why I do the show. Oh, yeah. So tonight this is how we're going to do the show. By the way,
we're streaming live on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Mixer, and Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook by searching for Tea Party Podcast. That's the letter T followed by Party Podcast, all one word. And on Twitter and Instagram at Marty Abernathy. You can financially support the show by making a one-time donation by going to trans.fm or by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/Marty Abernathy. That's MartyAbernathy.
So I want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way first. How we're going to do this show, because I'm kind of transitioning the show into, it's going to be a mixture of videos like I've done in the past. Sorry. I do have a button here and I can do this and hear me. I could have used that, but I didn't. Sue me. Anyways. But we're going to have interviews come. In fact, I'm going to be doing an interview on Friday for the show on Saturday. And then I am going to do one next week. I'm going to have another guest on. So we'll be having some guests. We'll still do the videos. We'll still do the commentary. But I hope to have more people on, have more people kind of in the discussion. Second thing I wanted to talk about is actually I kind of want to have the chat up so I can see excuse me if anybody says anything, because god damn it, people are in the chat. Some random geek, Jordan Joan P, the whole crew, nerd teacher, I'm on at 9 your time. Yes, I am. I don't know why. But, so, I wanted to discuss, like I said, some housekeeping stuff first. How the show is going to go forward from here. It's going to change a little bit because of the interviews, but I still want to have, you guys are what's important to me and what you guys think and about the show. It matters. So if you don't like something, tell me. If you like something, tell me. Anyways, I don't know what's I poisoned myself. Maybe it's just the envy. But we're gonna switch over here. See, I am professional. I can't use the fucking button. God damn it. So, little story time. Back in the day, this used to be my website. If you can't see the URL, it's martyabernathy.com, everybody. Yeah. That used to be my website. And then because I'm dumb, I forgot to renew it, and all the stuff that was going on at the time. At the time, I was running Trans Advocate, and my personal site was getting a lot of hits, and yeah, I oh my god, I'm so stupid. I let the domain name expire. I just can't believe I did that, but I did that. And it literally took until last year for them to totally squeeze out all the SEO, what, I don't even know what you call it, like all that money out of my domain. And it just became a spam site. And I watched it, and I waited and waited until last year. Well, until probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And I found it, that it was available again. So I was like, great, I took it. And this is actually my old blog theme. I'm still working on it. I haven't posted in a while. I just posted this. But I'm still working on it because this is actually the old theme, and all the way down here at the bottom. So it's got some issues. And at some point it might be better than this if somebody smarter. Oh God, man. Something is going on in my chest. Somebody smarter than me does something with it, but or I pay somebody to do that, but not right now. It's not important. I just want to get into the habit of writing again. I think that's important. Because it's funny because these old posts that I've made, I reference them all the time, and the points that I made in them, I reference it quite a lot. And I think, especially like this one, who's to blame for Trump's win? I wrote that when did I write that? Fuck. But I don't know, it has 517 shares. Holy shit. And 322. Oh, wow. Anyways. No, that's not me. That's that. Oh, never mind. But the points that I brought up, they're still relevant. So anyways, I want to start writing again. It's important to me that I do that. But another thing, because I do it mostly because I felt, and I do feel like with Facebook and with Twitter, everything's gone away from what blogging used to be. It used to be a linear thing that you did, and you saw people's posts as they came out. And this is my way of really fighting the algorithm. The other way that I'm going to fight the algorithm is I have created my own. I don't want to show it because I can only have 20 people right now on my Mastodon account. And but I have a new Mastodon account, which I will share with you guys later until when I get it figured out exactly. I haven't got it hooked up to the Fediverse yet. But I've got it set up. I've got it paid for. I've got some of the stuff that basically I can tweet from it. And I'm not going off of Twitter either, but I'm going to use my sites that don't deal with the algorithms, because it's a fantasy to think that you have an audience. I keep thinking about Mr. Hamilton, a guy that's got 6 million followers on TikTok. And he may get a video that gets 11,000 views. So bottom line is, I don't care if I have 12 people that watch this show, or 4 people that watch this show, or 7 people that watch this show. I know, or read my tweets or whatever, I'm going to engage with those people where they are. And if, you know, and I'm going to do it in a way that's free from all this fucking, as much as I can, away from all this algorithm filtering, because it's just as anti-capitalist, or not anti, it's capitalist. It's basically the internet companies have finally found a way to monetize tweets and social media content, and they're doing it. And I just am not going to play that game. So anyways, so I'll be posting on here, and I'll be posting around social media, but I'm going to try to use various sites. I also found this site, and so, I mean, it's literally like a YouTube, like a version from, it's based on the same thing that Mastodon is based on. So apparently the My Little Pony people anyways, but I want to integrate as much as I can into something that is a bit more linear and not based on the algorithm. And I don't care how many people watch or see it. I'm going to devolve my content away from social media that basically is capitalizing on me rather than me having any kind of position to do that on them. So I am going to play a few videos today before we talk about Contrapoints. If any of you don't know, the big topic tonight is Contrapoints and Comrade Chelsea Manning, who put out a fantastic tweet today. And we'll go over that. So on with the show. Sorry for that long explanation, but I felt like that it needed to happen. There's our Comrade or Commie Trucker. But I found this one. This one's about Corbyn versus Starmer, the difference between the two. I thought it was interesting.
25, don't waste your money.
Don't waste your money.
Don't waste your money. If they want to work, they are already working.
Politics has got to be relevant to you. It's got to be relevant to you that you've got a college place, relevant to you that you can get a job at the end of it, relevant to you that you can have some views and take part in society as a whole. That means we, as a political party, a Labour Party, we as representatives of the Labour Party have got to make sure our party and our policies are equally relevant to the hopes and aspirations of those young people. So I'm absolutely determined over the next 4 years to make sure that the campaigning we do is with young people that may be slightly cynical about the political system, may be slightly disillusioned about the way things are going on, and say to them that at the end of the day, our achievements, our powers, our hopes are because we do things together.
That's the difference between Jeremy Corbyn and Keir Starmer. So, a shock there, huh? But what's going on in the UK is really scary because they're literally trying to outlaw the government being embarrassed.
Journalists who embarrass the government could face up to 14 years in prison under proposed changes to the Official Secrets Act. So, for example, the journalist that broke the story that Matt Hancock was breaking social distancing rules and having an affair with his married aide.
By the way, what happened here, for those of you that don't know, in the UK, the guy that was leading the COVID response, the person that was the head of it, NHS, Matt Hancock, was caught on CCTV making out with one of his aides, basically cheating, and that he was also breaking social distancing rules himself with his married aide.
Could have been prosecuted under the proposed changes because the story requires CCTV to be proven. A free press is a fundamental part of any liberal democracy. If the government were to go ahead with this, it would undermine the press's ability to hold this government to account, which is obviously what they want. Let's not forget that most of the right-wing media is in the government's back pocket, or actually, maybe it's the other way around. And here's an idea. Maybe the government should stop doing embarrassing stuff and then the press won't have to report on it. It's just a suggestion, lads.
On point, but I thought, Jesus Christ. What a, like, that literally, people overdo the whole 1984 thing, but Jesus Christ, you can't criticize the government or expose them for who they are. And the United States is not without doing this shit either. They're trying to prosecute journalists, and here's something from Comrade Cuddles, our favorite comrade. Something he put out that I just totally fucking agree with.
Imagine ignoring the material conditions and the day-to-day realities of the LGBTQ plus community, just so you can say, in white confidence, things have gotten better for them. It's two white guys so far.
Literally, people are talking about Joe Biden, and they're talking about, oh my God, how things are so much better now. How in the fuck are they better? How? I mean, you could possibly say that they're minimally better because of policies that can be changed without laws, directives. You could say that, and that's somewhat true. Has the Equality Act passed? Has one bit of LGBT legislation passed that affects the material conditions of people in the LGBT community, especially the most marginalized people? I would say no. No. And yes, nerd teacher, you are right. And most cuddly comrade. But he's so awesome. He's so on point with this, you know, and liberals will, oh my God, I can't believe it. He's saying that Joe Biden sucks. Yeah. If you look at what's happening right now and what's going to happen, you know what's going to happen. They haven't even worked on the fucking filibuster. They haven't gotten rid of the filibuster. Literally, that's something that they have to do. Here, now this is my prediction that none of you motherfuckers or anybody out there is going to listen to, and I know it's going to listen to. But this is what's going to happen. 2022 is going to come along, and Republicans are going to retake the House and probably the Senate. And you're going to have a two-year president that has nothing he can do except veto. And that's it. And it's going to be his own fault. It's going to be his own fault because in the first 2 years of his presidency, he didn't do anything on any of this stuff. The biggest thing that's going to change things is around the country, around the United States. Literally, the maps are changing because of redistricting. The only way things like the Supreme Court, packing the Supreme Court and stopping the filibuster. I mean, these different things, if they want to win, they would change these things, but they're not. Some random geek in the chat said, according to an insider source, Biden is going to relaying on grassroots organizing, overcoming gerrymandering, and voter suppression. That's not going to happen because you know what? The Democrats are going to lose hard. They're going to lose hard because exactly what we're talking about now. They haven't taken the bold steps that you need to take. And it's because they're trying to hold on to power instead of legislate. And it's predictable, but I mean, it's what Democrats do. So anyways, nerd teacher said, along with how some Democrats are just bloody useless, their party is built on reaction. Like someone in Austin was talking about Texas Democrats just totally losing the plot with schools. Because they fought so hard against the GOP during doing anti-mask that they put forward nothing useful for our schools in the pandemic. Here's the thing. The Republican God, what is his name? I forget his name, but he was the head of elections, and he basically admitted that if it weren't for redistricting and that kind of thing, if they wouldn't have suppressed the vote, no, it wasn't Greg Abbott. It was his Secretary of State, I believe, or Attorney General, one of those things. I forgot. I think his name's Ken something. Anyways, doesn't matter. But he admitted to it. He admitted that they basically suppressed the vote in Texas because if they didn't suppress the vote in Texas, they would have lost. They knew this. Especially in Dallas, Fort Worth, and places like that. But anyways, it doesn't fucking matter. Democrats have 2 years. And no one's going to give them a pass on this. And when it happens, Republicans will come back with a vengeance, and push this even further because it's what keeps them in power. Like literally, it's what keeps them in power. So, anyways, yeah.
I wonder how many white people are going to show up to offer the Biden better than Trump because LGBT legislation. It's going to be another one of those weeks, I see.
And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, and I think it was straight on to the point. And again, you know, it's basics, but anyways, on to some COVID. This is a COVID related video. So basically, this nurse says, "What happens to staffing ratios and quality of care, quality of patient care when amazing nurses are forced to leave the hospital due to new mandates?" And she's talking about mask mandates. And this guy's a nurse on Twitter, and he just eviscerates this person.
You know, there's always an agenda to people like this, and this one's no different. I mean,
join my Telegram channel. Free coffee enema course. Shop my coffee enema essentials on Amazon. Oh dear. Wait a minute. I gotta see what this fucking promo code is. Oh, Ashley Taylor Wellness. Oh. 10% off Row Optics blue blocker glasses. Find my formula. Nootropics, 20%. Oh my God. Anyways, we'll get back.
Do you want a nurse that's telling people to squirt coffee up their asses on your team? I sure as hell don't. But what really bothers me about this video is that smug little smirk on her face. Acting like this mass exodus of science-denying quacks is going to hurt us, for one thing. But getting satisfaction out of that, like actually espousing that you get enjoyment out of doing something like that, it's concerning. And so one thing I will have to give to our physician colleagues is that we don't see physicians anywhere near the amount of time we see nurses on this app spewing bullshit like this. But the nurses doing it, there's always a backstory. So always make sure you look into that.
There's always a fucking grift. There's always a grift. She's selling coffee ground enemas.
And honey, the Lord and Savior complex and this self-proclaimed hero complex, it really needs to stop. You're doing us a favor. You're doing patients a favor, and you're doing nursing a favor. But what's really sad is that your entire page is dedicated to appealing to people's emotions and seeding distrust into evidence-based interventions in primary prevention in healthcare.
This is really important to talk about because this is one of those things that there are things that are really kind of foundational for me. And to be honest with you, I need to green screen some of this and have them come on, because literally what Carl Sagan said about in the Demon Haunted World, what he said about science being a way of understanding the world. That's what this is talking about. That is how this kind of shit happens. That's how you get coffee ground enemas being sold as something that is healthy and good. It's not scientific. It's all based on how people feel, how they want to make people feel a certain way. Anyways, and they're always selling something. It's always a fucking grift,
and that kills people. And like medical regulators are starting to crack down on physicians engaging in that type of deplorable behavior. It's time that nursing regulators did the same damn thing.
Yep.
Do better.
Yep. But again, it comes down to that Jordan Joan P. Oh my God. Jordan Joan P.
Correct.
Jordan Joan P says, drink from your mouth, not the butt, you weirdo. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So on with the show. The next one, it's a mix of transphobia and racism, and coming up at some point, I do want to do a show on the intersection of racism and transphobia. But this, and you can get into the discussions of the stuff with Michelle Obama and how there's a transphobia in that. People saying that she was a man, and the racism involved with that, and the just racism towards Black women and femininity of Black women. But I'm just going to play this.
Okay. A gender confirming test to be done on this Namibian runner simply because she beat a white man's score. This is also why I say that these labels in the gender binary are problematic, because of things like this happening to Black women. But let's continue. I'm not even going to bother trying to say his name, but a former Polish athlete has demanded that an 18-year-old go through a sex-affirming test because he cannot believe someone who can run her times is definitely a woman. Doesn't this read the same energy of a little boy that's mad that he got beat by a girl in any other sport? And this has happened to other Black women before in other sports. I'm going to need white men to shut the hell up and admit that you got beat.
Totally. This is Glam Melanin on Twitter, on TikTok. She is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and I love her content. She's always on point. Oh, so the next two I actually love. Oh no, I'm switching over my headsets. But I wanna this content creator, I want to have him on the show. I don't know how he identifies, so I don't know how they identify, so let's put it that way. But fantastic. This basically saying why TERFs are fascists.
If TERFs are crypto fascists and alt-right trolls, why are they organizing and debating tactics the exact same? Why do they suck people into pointless discourse and then use mass reporting to silence them? It's giving very much psyop. Why does their politics only focus on sex as opposed to gender and race and the intersections of those two? Why does their politics rely on a manufactured moral panic about the degeneracy of society in which somehow trans women have become the ruling class? Why does their politics rely on weaponized disgust, demonizing trans women in the exact same way that the alt-right demonizes queer people? Why does their politics weaponize the purity of white women and mobilize the patriarchy to defend them against the threat of trans women? And that's why trans women suffer male violence. Why do they constantly pretend to be more oppressed than they are and call TERF a slur? Why does gender ideology sound so similar to the gay agenda that conservatives push? Please tell me we're all seeing the parallels.
Because it is! Because it's right wing, and it is. And it is, and it is, and it is, and it is, and it is. Yeah. Anyways, part 2.
Thank you. Let's get ready for TERFs are fascists part 2. So firstly, if TERFs aren't fascist, then why is the core of their ideology anti-Semitism? Why do they peddle anti-Semitic tropes, like the idea that a small group of people, aka trans women, control the world, media, and discourse? If TERFs aren't fascist, why aren't they anti-capitalist? Why aren't they working to deconstruct the system of neoliberal capitalism that's tending towards fascism and killing us all? If TERFs aren't fascist, why does their ideology center around the fact that men biologically oppress women? That sounds like a conservative talking point that backs male superiority. If TERFs aren't fascist, why do they demonize female sexuality but not male sexuality? If TERFs aren't fascist, why are they constantly working towards harming the material conditions of sex workers and not fixing the exploitation of women across all industries?
Yes!
And finally, if TERFs aren't fascist, why is one of their faves, Andrea Dworkin, quoted as describing sex workers as vaginal slime? Thank you very much.
Yep, totally on point. On every fucking point. Not one of those do I disagree with. Anyways, all right. This is going to be the last video that I want to talk about tonight. And the rest of the show is going to be Contrapoints and company.
No, because people that are fleeing their countries, especially in the global south, are doing so mainly because of U.S. interference, whether it's blockades, sanctions, or U.S.-backed.
This is so on point. This is something I didn't think about or realize for the longest time. People will say, well, why are they coming to America? Because to be in the middle of America is to be away from American imperialism. You don't have to worry about somebody bombing your house in the middle of the night. You have the protection of that. Ronan O'Donovan in the chat says, also frequently TERFs will just do anti-Semitism. by claiming that transgenderism is funded by secret scary millionaires with Germanic last names. Also, what's really interesting about that, people the God damn it. Anti-Semitism. If you see, oh, I wish I could find it, because anti-Semitism. Find the images. One of the biggest heroes of TERFs is a woman that basically supported the narrative of let's see, George Soros. That's what it was. George. Yeah, they don't show, but basically, there's. I'm trying to find it. Anyways, basically, making these conspiracy theories, they're full of anti-Semitic tropes about George Soros and about other trans some trans women that are Jewish that are part of this. It's the internet has once again exploded with social media posts about George Soros, with far-right activists and QAnon conspiracy theorists posting wildly and imaginative claims about the billionaire philanthropist. Behind the spectacle of paranoid outrage, there is a troubling and undenying truth about the constant attacks on George Soros, anti-Semitism. And yeah, so I mean, when they go after him, it's gross, and it is but they don't just go after him, they call it a yes, here we go. This is from Mallory Moore. And she talks about this person here, Magdalene Burns. She's died, but she is like their hero. And this is the kind of shit that she would advocate. The money behind the transgender movement. And list, they'll talk about people, and here we go. Here we go. It's the Jews that are sacrificing your children to appease the trans lobby. And they talk about the pharmaceutical companies and it being around puberty blockers and trans, that they want to medicalize everything, so you'll have to buy hormones for the rest of your life. And hormones, I'm sorry, I buy a bottle of compounded, it costs a little bit over $100. They making money on hormones. Spironolactone is cheap. So, and yes, it is a problem. There is a problem across the board. You know, I mean, diabetes medicine and stuff like that. But it's not transgenderism. You know, it's not this plot. Anyways, yeah, it's gross. Anyways, I thought that was really on point. But getting back to Commie Trucker here, what he's talking about, the United States being like out of being out of harm's way when you are in the United States. You have reached a safe zone. And honestly, I mean, this is capitalism. They want to use these people. Anyways, so yeah. Commie Trucker's right on point.
Coups. They are trying to get to a place where their families are safe. And our compassion for human beings doesn't end at some imaginary border. It encompasses all humans.
Yep. So, yeah. I'd like to do more on that at some point, but we'll see. That being said, next we're going to talk about Contrapoints. You know, that leftist YouTuber, bread tuber. Some people say she's left. It's becoming more and more a question to me whether or not she is. But let's have a look. So she recently posted a video called Envy, and I fucking couldn't stand watching it. I'll be honest with you. It felt like I was dirtying myself. Jordan Joan P said Contrapoints more sellout points. I disagree. I think her name tells you all you need to know. She is grifting on controversy. She makes, I mean, it's just like a little fucking mill. Yeah. So, first off, the first point I want to make actually is, well, I want to play this video, and this comes from Bad Empanada. Oh, Nicole, nerd teacher, let's have a chat. Let's over here. So, okay. Actually, yeah, it was, and I'm going to punish you because you've been really bad. I won't punish you by going through the whole thing, but we are going to watch parts of it. I have watched a lot of it, and I think you'll like how I'm doing this, because I didn't like having to watch the whole thing. But you won't have to. You'll just get a little trauma instead of a lot. But this is from our friend Bad Empanada. And he talks about, first off, you have to understand where this is coming from how Contrapoints, where she's coming from in this fight. People talk about her being a leftist YouTuber, but she's not. But she is an entertainer, and controversy it's the big tent. Come see the freak show. That's what it is. Come see the controversy. Come see the it's not even like it's only interesting to the people that are her viewers. Anyways, on with it.
Creators make a whole lot of money. Something very related to every single thing that I've talked about in this video is that creators tend to make a whole lot of money. A lot more than they tend to let on, too. Some bigger creators actually like to hide how much they make, something which I honestly find a bit suspect. I think that they suspect that some people would be less inclined to send them money if they knew exactly how much they were actually making already. So that's a bit manipulative, isn't it? Anyway, let me try to give you an idea of how much they make. Right now, I make $1,418 a month on Patreon, with 383 patrons. That means that the average pledge on my Patreon is $3.70 per month. Let's go over to Contrapoints' Patreon, since she is both considered BreadTube and, as far as I know, has the biggest Patreon for an individual YouTuber out of everyone. Right now, she has about 13,500 patrons. If she makes at least as much as me per patron, in reality, I think she probably makes more, since her tiers start at $3 while mine start at $1, then she's making $50,000 a month from Patreon alone, not counting anything else. Now, I'm sure that she
50,000 a month. 50,000 a month. She makes more than I do in a year, in a month.
Puts a lot of money back into her videos and pays the people who work with her, etc. But as someone who has intimate insight into this stuff, no, it's not anywhere near that much, okay? She's making bank, basically, and all from putting out like 5 videos total every year. Then there's someone like PhilosophyTube. PhilosophyTube has around 8,000 patrons, which, using the same estimate, would net her about $30,000 a month. However, PhilosophyTube works on a very consistent schedule. She also very clearly invests a lot of money into her monthly videos. She hires a whole damn professional production company, for example. Whatever you think of her politics or her arguments, etc., her maintenance of such a strict schedule is nonetheless impressive.
And she's been trashed too. I won't say. Abigail hasn't had her problems, especially when she talked about Trump being trans and said that people were worse than Nazis. So yeah. But in terms of her production and schedule and how she spends her money, it does seem to be a lot more ethical than Contrapoints.
And basically exactly what viewers should expect from a creator who they support. So there's 2 different sorts of Patreons there. On Contrapoints, people are just kind of funding her life, and every now and again she might bless them with a video. And I find
that how bready is that? Would Peter Kropotkin would he be saying that that was somehow bread related? I think not.
That kind of problematic. I feel like a lot of people are giving money to someone who's already like way richer than they are. She probably makes more in a month than most of them make in a year, and she doesn't even remotely need 80% of that money for her work, and they very occasionally get a video in return, which they could also have just watched anyway without giving her a cent. PhilosophyTube, however, operates like someone who is actually getting paid to make videos, like someone who has a job, a video every month. Simple. If that's something that she feels she can't do alone, then she spares no expense in getting the help that she needs to make sure that she can. One of these people clearly respects their supporters and sees themselves as a content creator who is being paid to make videos, rather than simply for being whoever the audience imagines them to be. The other, well, who knows?
And I thought that that was so on point. So on point. So with that in mind, we're going to go into this is my Windows background. Let's see. This is Opulent. No, not Opulence. This is Envy. All right. So So basically, oh, I'm wondering how I can do this. I just realized I didn't hear it before. I don't really need the sound. I don't know if I can. All right. So basically she talks about Kim Kardashian and how people are when she put some fake quote about the problem with bourgeoisie is they're not relatable. They can't read the room and it isn't a very good look. They should have stayed in this should have stayed in the drafts. Hashtags tone deaf. And she's pulling out all what really kills me too. Okay, who does she use? She talks about the red pill and all this shit. She talks about fucking Freud. Because we all know that Freud is something else. So anyways, I've got some points here.
Well, we'll come back to that later. Let's put a pin in me for now. A pin in it for now. In Freud, I mean. Let's put a pin in Freud. In a 1966 book titled Envy, A Theory of Social Behavior, the sociologist Helmut Schuck argued that rather than being... That is a very German name. Helmut Schuck? It's putting me in a German mood, sweetie. Hallo, meine Lieben. Heute gibt's ein neues Video. I just get worse at German every year. Schuck argued that rather than being the result of social or economic inequality, envy is a universal across all human societies.
And it goes on and on and on. Yeah. She just talks about envy and how it's here we go.
The Just. It's good! It's so good! See, this is why the idea of cancel culture is absurd. This has been going on since the dawn of civilization. People in most cultures, not all, but most cultures understand that being envied is a massive social liability, so it's best not to draw too much attention to yourself. According to a Tamil saying, the tree that bears fruit will be stoned. This is sometimes called tall poppy syndrome, because the tallest poppies in the garden will be cut.
So basically, she's boiling this down to class envy. This is what she's talking about, class envy. That support of making this all about class envy. And you're just, I mean, it sounds more like fucking Rush Limbaugh than it does anyone on the left. Hell, this... this makes Peter Coffin sound like a fucking leftist god. This literally sounds like Rush Limbaugh.
Argues that the fear of envy is a major inhibiting force in many societies.
In Haiti.
So yeah, it's just more of that. It's more of showing how society envies, and she even uses fucking SpongeBob and Squidward. Oh god. Seriously? And Nietzsche. Oh hell no. So here we go. So yeah. You don't want to watch all this, but
Us actually reminds me of A Christmas Carol, a story about the guilt of the rich if ever there was one. You know, Scrooge is visited by ghosts who show him how wretched and sad the lives of his employees are, and how he'll die alone and hated by everyone, and his funeral is only attended by businessmen on the condition that lunch is provided. Dickens was truly the master of scaring the rich straight. So maybe fear of envy can serve a softly regulatory function by motivating charity and generosity in the rich. But in general, I'm suspicious of envy as a motivation for politics.
Do you get Republican vibes here? I mean, like, literally, The people that are harmed. Who does she fucking? She's showing Scrooge, talking about Scrooge being Scrooge somehow. I mean, this reminds me of people that on the IDW side of things talk about Star Wars and talking about how Darth Vader is right. It's insane. I mean, it's literally Mike Douglas. Greed is good. Oh, and you're just jealous. You're just jealous. Oh my God. So anyways, we're gonna move past a bunch of this because it's just, she quotes Andrea Dorkin, sees herself as fucking the wicked stepmother, blah 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 blah. Oh, it's so tiring. It's so tiring. By this point, I'm really wanting to not do this. Now, I almost feel like maybe this is her writing this, like fucking just, but definitely went out looking for this. Yeah.
Because of the proximity effect, and because another trans woman represents an actual possibility of what I, a trans woman, could become. She's a standard to which I could plausibly compare myself. Here's a post someone made on my own fan subreddit.
Am I the only one who finds it hard to watch trans creators?
Someone could be me. Someone. I don't know who. Who could it be? Who could it be? But it works real well in my video.
Before I realized I was a trans woman, I fucking loved people like Contrapoints, Nick Spears, and other trans creators. But ever since I realized I was trans, I just get this angry, resentful feeling in the pit of my stomach whenever I get recommended any of these videos. I seriously loved Contrapoints, but whenever I try to watch any of her videos, I just want to scream. I had this feeling toward passing trans people in general. I feel such hatred for them, and I don't know why. Am I just a toxic person?
Well, sweetie, you're not a toxic person.
You just are jealous of me. It's envy. It's envy. You just aren't like me. It's envy. Could you get any more a fucking caricature of yourself? Like literally she's becoming, I have to wonder. There was one of her videos where she was doing this news show and she was interviewing these different characters, and I fucking have to wonder, like, which one is her? She has literally become a caricature of her own characters. Like, oh God, you're so jealous of me, aren't you? You just want to be me.
At least not any worse than anyone else. It's just that human nature is a toxic person. And that angry, resentful feeling in the pit of your stomach that makes you want to scream and feel such a hatred has a name. And the name is envy. I actually admire the person who wrote this post because
of course, you love yourself.
They're doing the best that any of us can do, really, which is noticing the feeling without endorsing the feeling. I wish that more people could feel things without rushing to a rational defense of the feeling. And isn't rationality itself often simply the attempt to make our feelings contagious? Sometimes people have no self-awareness about it at all. For example,
correct. It's you. It's you that you're talking about. You have no fucking self-awareness. Jesus Christ, help me. Help me, Jesus. Oh. She's conflating people's actual need to transition. I mean, all this with being jealous, being envious of her. God, it all her videos focus around, ever since the video where she talked about being canceled, all her videos seem to focus around people being critical of her. And oh, what should she do? They're going to criticize me anyways. Oh my God. It just, Jordan Joan P said she's becoming the popular girl in high school, like one of the mean girls in Mean Girls. But Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just, anyways.
There's a certain kind of boomer transsexual who complains that when I transitioned, I had to go through rigorous medical gatekeeping, but kids these days just waltz on in and walk out with hormones.
Oh my God. Who would that be? Who would that be? Contrapoints? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that true scum, transmedicalist, Buck Angel? Is that who you're talking about? Your hero? Hell, Jesus. Oh my God. Oh, she's talking about the gatekeepers. Her hero is a gatekeeper.
It's intergenerational envy, trans edition. It was hard for me, so it should be hard for everyone.
Exactly, said Buck Angel.
Like the student debt debate. If I can't have it, no one can. And look, I do have sympathy and admiration for older trans people. Like, being trans in 2021.
Like, I do have sympathy. I know it's hard for you, plebs. Oh my God.
Is already the maximum level of adversity that I can handle. I cannot imagine how hard it was to do this in the 80s. However, the pain of envy is not a valid argument.
It's not a valid argument. Thus saith the Lord.
Envy is not sacred rage, and the malignant demand.
All right, that's fucking enough contra poetry. Here, no, it's more of the bullshit. So here we go.
Scoffing at the vulgar taste of the Arab East. These flying buttresses are an extremely poor taste. Another example is shit-talking plastic surgery. I once heard a trans woman say, "At least I don't look like a botched sex doll."
Oh, I once heard a transsexual say, someone I know just happens to fit right into this video.
The subtext is, there's a certain kind of trans woman influencer who lives in LA and has a lot of cosmetic surgery to achieve a doll-like aesthetic. But it costs a lot of money to look like this. And a lot of trans women can't afford surgeries that they want. And one way to cope with frustrated desire is to convince yourself that the thing that's out of reach is not worth having anyway.
Yes. See, I understand. My name's Contrapoints. And I am a philosopher. I understand your inner turmoil so much that I can project it onto the screen. I can make it live. I am your psychologist.
See also the discourse on Twitter about how passing is transphobic. There's an ancient Greek fable where a fox wants some grapes, but he can't reach the vine. So he walks away bitterly and says, well, the grapes are transphobic anyway. The cisgender version of this is maybe the not like other girls meme, which is classic envy to contempt sublimation.
Yes, classic. Anyways, yeah. More of this bullshit. More. And here you go.
in male sexuality, because often what they're really struggling to control is their own desire. But slut shaming is also done pretty viciously by women to each other, and that's a complicated thing. It's more than just envy. Sometimes it comes from a sense that a woman who's having casual sex with a lot of men is compromising the collective sex withholding power of the group, almost like she's crossing a picket line. But there's also sometimes a resentment that a woman who's showing skin is using her body to get unearned attention. And that smells like envy to me. I don't use my body to get attention, so no one should. The repressed feeling is, maybe I'm a little jealous that she's getting all this attention by posting thirst traps, but you don't think that.
Anyways, it's just more of the fucking same. More of the same. More and more and more and more. And more. And more. And more.
As a white woman, I know I have unearned privilege. So am I really the best person to be in leadership? Yes. Yes, you are. Because we need leaders like you who are capable of questioning the legitimacy of their own authority. Otherwise, we're just going to be stuck with another blonde beast of prey. And of course, it's good to be aware of your privilege, especially as a leader, but let's not be so self-effacing that we efface ourselves off the face of the earth. This is the self.
I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Cultural Marxism!
They call it the redistribution of sex, state-mandated GFs. That's very valid. Of course, they don't actually expect any of this to happen. That's not the point. So incels are kind of a universal punching bag online. It's very easy to point and laugh at them. But what's harder is to look in the mirror and notice how these exact same tendencies are rampant in our...
You are all incels! God damn it. You're all incels. All of you. You're all incels.
our own communities. So the incel black pill is just one instance of what I call an ideology of resentment, a discourse that outwardly appears like moral or political critique, but which on...
Yeah, and anyways, it's more of this bullshit. Well, just more of it. Anyways, yes. More bullshit. More bullshit. And what lesson did we learn?
Having bitter spinster thoughts. It's because I'm trans. It's because I'm gay. That's why I'll die alone. Yeah, that's the reason I'm alone. Definitely not because I don't leave the house. See, I am not immune to incel tier brain poisoning. And you really can use political theorizing as an excuse not to fix your life.
It's the funniest thing that she said in this entire fucking video is right here. Because it's the truth. But like literally, like instead of doing the right thing like she's had to do, she makes fucking videos like this that are full of fucking nonsense. You know, she's quoting people like Dworkin and Freud. If you random retro in the chat, does Natalie understand any crap that's coming out of her mouth? If you critique me, you're just jealous of me. I'm actually a pro, even though I make millions and spend thousands on costumes. I'm really just a communist. Yeah, exactly. I can't believe... Random Retro said she believes her own hype, hun. I don't know. I can't jump into these people's minds, but it's like somebody like Ted Cruz. I wonder if he believes his bullshit or if he just knows his audience. I think she just might know her audience, the people that pay her $50,000 a month. I think this is where I kind of go, is this part of the grift, or is this actually what she believes? Does she believe her grift? Has she swallowed her grift? I don't know.
Society did this to me. A transphobic society made me hate myself. Well, yeah, that's true. But at a certain point, you have to take responsibility for your own mind and decide to stop being an accomplice in your own annihilation. Since we keep referencing.
I have a video for this. I guess she would have something different to say to fucking Martin Luther King.
What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worth.
And that's kind of, I sit there and think the bootstrap argument. Yeah. You're making the bootstrap argument. Like literally, what does your argument sound like? Yeah. What does it sound like?
Paradise Lost, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. Yes, squad. So I asked myself, what kind of mind do I want to be? Do I want to obsess over what I lack, concede society's judgment of my inferiority, become a self-hating, self-pitying, envious, resentful little nothing? Or do I want to get off the goddamn floor, stop chasing the dragon, and say yes to life? The answer, of course, is that I long to return to the sweet womb of my dark mother. But we're...
Yeah. So who does she sound like? She sounds more like Prager fucking you than she does a leftist of any fucking kind. She sounds more like Rush Limbaugh.
Not gonna do that because there's plenty of time to numb the pain after you die. The sweet embrace of death is the darkest mother of all. Also, nothing is less attractive than an envious, resentful, self-pitying person. It's beyond a personality flaw. It's a personality deformity that can ruin whatever chance at happiness you have.
Yeah, so it's all about personal happiness. Yeah. So, anyways, Jordan Joan P in the in chat says, I remember one video that she did. She wanted to help right wing people be more left once. So yeah, I think she does know her following. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. That's exactly why I did it. It's fucking the same thing. Now, I actually think that it's fantastic. I'm looking for, if I can find it. I actually had it up here. Um God damn it. Let's see if I can find it. Because I had it up here, but Chelsea. Where you at, Chelsea? There you are. Chelsea wrote this great fucking post. She said, major revolts are not driven by want, by desire, or by envy of a group of individuals. They are driven by deteriorating material conditions, failing civil institutions and infrastructure, successful waves of repressions by governments. In essence, it's about need, necessity, and survival. This isn't even a philosophical question or debate, but rather a fundamental doctrinal understanding in military and insurgency / counterinsurgency history and literature. I don't understand why this is being discussed. This of all weeks, the world is objectively on fire. I don't think this discussion is intentional per se, but it is a direct result of an incentive structure that algorithmically and financially rewards the creation of distraction, misdirection, and general discord among folks towards the benefit of the incumbent institutions in power and of the fucking people like Contrapoints that make these fucking videos saying, oh, it's just envy. It's just envy. And I won't delve into the fucking comments because they are a fucking cesspool of contrastands. You can see it. You can literally see it. It's tiresome. So, anyways, yeah. This is who you're and this has been going around, and I think it's still on point. It's one of those comics from old that is so fucking on point. You have your statesmen up here, your kings, and money is at the very fucking top. And then you have the preachers that support the kings. And then you have an army that upholds them all. They say, we rule you. We fool you. We shoot you. We eat for you. And they basically support it all and die. So, yeah. Jordan Joan P. But the problem that you get the toxicity of the right wing. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is more about distraction. And honestly, I feel like the stuff with Contrapoints, it's actually more about Contrapoints than it is anything else. It's about, you're watching her do this kind of deep dive into her own fucking psyche and trying to put all this stuff on top of that and make it, she makes everything about her. It's just unbelievable. And I don't know how anybody can call this fucking shit leftist. I really don't. Random Retro in the chat says, Natalie has a history of employing right-wing imagery in her videos and also has a history engaging right-wing tactics to silence her critics. And I don't disagree with that at all. I think you're right on point, Random Retro. I mean, at what point are people, I mean, I think over time people do wake up. I did. Natalie is basically shoe on head or Blair with a higher IQ. I don't know about that, but what I do know is that just like shoe on head or Blair White, it's a grift. It's a grift. It's a way for them to make a shit ton of money. You know? You're talking and you're not talking tiny sums of money. You know, you're talking about 600,000 a year, roughly. In 2 years, she's making over $1 million for 10 videos. 100,000 a video. So yes. Yeah. People in the chat are talking about it being one of those things that that she's trained. She being a PhD dropout, she's trained. Yes, and there is a lot of philosophy that goes into her videos, and but like she's using Freud of all fucking people. I mean, Random Retro says, when Natalie first started talking about trans issues, I gave her the benefit of the doubt that she was sharing her still forming thoughts as facts. And I did too. And even when she made mistakes, I gave her the benefit of the doubt that it was something that she wasn't doing on purpose, that she was just learning. But the stuff with the there's a time and a place. You give people the benefit of the doubt, but as she started to climb, especially with, I think it was Opulence, after Opulence, and you could tell that she was using the whole shtick of cancel culture to raise herself up and get more of a platform, and she's done it. And now she has no one to criticize her, really. That, I mean, we've got 10 viewers, and I may get 25 people that fucking watch this on replay. But you know what? She doesn't have anybody of her ilk that's going to criticize her. You know, she won't. She won't have anybody that has any kind of impact on her life, on her streams, on her content. You know, this is write it until you can write it no more. Random Retro, yeah, it has become very clear that this is intentional. And it almost felt like watching that, it almost felt like that she basically had an idea of what she was going to do in this video, and then went out and took pieces to fit her narrative. And it's literally like 9/11 truthers, anti-vaxxers, young earth creationists. It's what they all do. They fit their rhetoric to what they think is true instead of looking for the truth. Random Retro said, when she started engaging with transmedicalism and leveraging cancel culture in the Opulence video, it became very clear to me she knew what she was doing. Yeah. Yeah, Nerd Teacher, it's like Tim Pool. It's also like Indian Go. You can look at so many of them. Who's the Ruben? Oh God. what is his name? Dave Rubin. He was a leftist comedian before he started shilling for the IDW. And it's literally they've found their grift and they're going to keep riding it, and just keep going. So, yeah. But here's the thing. You have someone like Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning put her life on the line. Chelsea Manning basically has put her ethics on the table. She has literally said, I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do. And it's not been a grift for her. She's not making any money. Like she literally, so I don't know if you know this or not, but she refused to testify and they sent her, even after she got pardoned. Was it pardoned? Anyways, by Obama. She was put in back in under Trump because she wouldn't testify. And she refused to testify. She did this because she felt it was her ethical responsibility. She stayed in prison. She had another suicide attempt, I believe. When she got out, she had fines of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Guess how she got those paid? She got those paid by fucking crowdfunding. That's it. She isn't making a fucking monthly Patreon fucking you know? When I say Comrade Chelsea, I mean it because God damn it. She's doing what she believes is true. And she's talking about like she knows what she's talking about. She was trained in the service about insurgency, counterinsurgency history and literature. You know, she knows what's going on here. And she, if anybody's a fucking leftist in this conversation, it's definitely Chelsea Manning. But I guess Chelsea is she's just jealous of Natalie. God damn. Like, and literally, Random Retro said, I had to delete Twitter for months because of her uncritical fan base, and she included me in her attack video. She actively encourages lateral violence against her critics. I'm not surprised by that. She literally Natalie will take people that have fucking 30 followers or 20 followers. See, this is an example of what I'm talking about, where she has fucking people that she can create a dog pile easily. Just by doing this in the video, people will say, oh, I don't like this person. I'm going to. It's just because it's not hard to find. Nerd Teacher said TYT shows have certainly produced some interesting offshoots. Jimmy Dore. And usually that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. I'm at this camera. That's the funny thing in this. It's always about the grift. Fucking Jimmy Dore he's not a leftist either. People will sit there and talk about it. He's not a leftist. You know, is he engaging in mutual aid? Is he a communist? No. Oh my God. Yeah, retro, random retro. Jordan Joan P said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you." Yeah, that's fucking gotta suck. I had when I was doing Trans Advocate, I went after oh God, what is her name? Osborne, Kelly Osborne. I went after her because she made some transphobic comments, and literally at the time, this was 2011 to 2012. And at the time, she had about 1.4 million followers, and they dogpiled the fuck out of me. There were only random retro. No, as a trans Jimmy Dore. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what she is. I mean, she's grifting. It's the difference that Bad Empanada was pointing out, the difference between Natalie and Abigail Thorne. It you can tell that it's true. You know, one's about defending a life and funding a lifestyle, and the other person's making videos for their audience. I think when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I hate to say this. I hate to say it. We'll have to go to Google Images. This right here, this is the only good hero. Oh, I don't have you on. Yeah. This right here, it's the only good hero. Always be skeptical. Always question someone's grift. Because Jesus Christ. No heroes. It's tiresome when people they find an audience and then they just ride it till I don't know when, you know, at the end of the day. Well, nerd teacher, I said I also feel like there's also this. We can't say bad things because then we'll look bad, but I can't completely articulate it. Here's the thing. In terms of Natalie, because I'm a visible trans person, because I'm visibly trans and I know that I am, and she has passing privilege, I'm going to be, if I make any kind of criticism of her, it's because I'm jealous. So you can't, I mean, there's always part of me that's going to sit there and go, oh my God, are they going to think that this comes out of jealousy? But it's the thing is, I feel pity for her more than anything. I feel pity for her because like I have never been a fan of gatekeeping. And I wouldn't ever do that. And I would never be the fan of Buck Angel specific. And that's the thing. When Buck Angel first came on the scene, I did prop him up. I did help popularize him with Trans Advocate because the things he was saying was sex positive and they were trans positive. But when he turned and started being a fucking trans medicalist, that's when I got off the Buck Angel train, and that was a long fucking time ago. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's a difference between Natalie and Chelsea. Chelsea is someone that is very focused on doing the right thing. And I feel like Natalie is focused on making money, knowing her audience, encouraging Natalie stands, Contra stands, and getting them to donate and support her lifestyle. At the end of the day, I think that's what it is. Because that's what, I mean, here's the thing. And that, to me, that's the most, like, Contrapoints is Crypto-MAGA. Because this is, like, you have to sit there and think. I mean, people like Trump, but people that were on the Trump train, people like Ted Cruz, they got on that train after they got their ass handed to them. And they are totally MAGA because it's a grift. And her talking points in this video are fucking right-wing talking points. They are bootstrap talking points. It could have just as easily come out of fucking PragerU. I mean, is that going to be next? Is Natalie going to make a fucking video for PragerU? I mean, anyways. Yeah, so that's the show for tonight. I'm not going to go on very much longer on this topic. I'll stay here. If you guys want to talk about it some more, I don't have a lot more else to say than other than I feel like be like Chelsea. You know, I think you ought to be like Chelsea and not like Natalie, because my God, look where it gets you. I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of ironically, it comes back to one of my favorite movies is V for Vendetta. And there's a letter to Valerie. And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. Hopefully this doesn't play this video. Stop. And in the context of this, it's basically that someone selling their anyways, I'm just going to read the whole thing. I know there is no way I can convince you that this is not one of their tricks, but I don't care. I am me. My name is Valerie. I don't think I'll live much longer, and I wanted to tell someone about my life. This is the only autobiography that I'll ever write, and God, I'm writing it on toilet paper. I was born in Nottingham in 1985. I don't remember much of those early years, but I do remember the rain. My grandmother owned a farm in Tottlebrook, and she used to tell me that God was in the rain. I passed my 11 plus and went to girls' grammar. It was at that school I met my first girlfriend. Her name was Sarah. It was her wrists. They were beautiful. And I thought we would love each other forever. I remember our teacher telling us it was an adolescent phase that people outgrew. Sarah didn't. Sarah did. I didn't. In 2002, I fell in love with a girl named Christina. That year I came out to my parents. I couldn't have done it without Chris holding my hand. My father wouldn't look at me and he told me to go and never come back. My mother said nothing. I'd only told them the truth. Was that so selfish? Our integrity sells for so little, but it is all we really have. It is the very last inch of us, and with that inch, we are free. I'd always known what I wanted to do with my life, and in 2015, I started my first film, The Salt Flats. It was the most important role of my life, not because of my career, but that was how I met Ruth. The first time we kissed, I knew I never wanted to kiss another's lips but hers again. We moved to a small flat in London together. She grew scarlet Carsons for me in our window box, and our place always smelt of roses. Those were the best years of my life. But America's war grew worse and worse, and eventually it came to London, and there were no roses anymore, not for anyone. I remember the meaning of the words began to change, how unfamiliar, like collateral and rendition, became frightening. When things like Norse fire and the Articles of Allegiance became powerful, I remember how different became dangerous. I still don't understand it, why they hate us so much. They took Ruth while she was out buying food. I've never cried so hard in my life. And it wasn't long until they came for me. It seems strange that my life should end in such a terrible place, but for 3 years I had roses and apologized to no one. I shall die here. Every inch of me shall perish. Every inch but one. An inch. It is a small and fragile, and yet is the only thing in the world worth having. We must never lose it or give it away. We must never let them take it from us. I hope that whoever you are, and if you that you escape this place, I hope that the world turns and things get better. But I hope most of all is that you understand what I mean, even when I tell you that even though I do not know you, even though I may not meet you, laugh with you, or cry with you, or kiss you, I love you. With all my heart, I love you, Valerie. And the part about it is small and fragile and it's the only thing in the world worth having, that's your respect and self-worth. And selling that. That's what I feel like people like Natalie have done here. She's sold it for a fucking grift. And people like Chelsea have to fucking crowdfund their debt to the state. So anyways, thank you, Comrade Chelsea. And with that, yeah. Anyways, that's kind of where I go back to. I just feel like it's one of those things that it's tiresome, but at the same time, it shows me a direction that I want to keep going in. And it's not to make this show fucking my job, my Patreon. Although you can go to teapartypodcast.com and become a patron. But I will tell you, right now, you're supporting other patrons. Because I think I'm, let me see. Right now, I support on Patreon. God damn it. You're going to make me sign in, aren't you? On Patreon, I support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 different creators. And some of them are new media, some of them are BLM, some of them are trans. And I mean, I'm going to look past the fact that I support Steve Shives and the fact that he is trying to make Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves into a good movie, but we won't go there. But right now, when you donate to Patreon, you're just helping other other creators. People like Chrisiosity, people like Julia Serrano and Leslie Mack and Essence of Thought. I mean, those are some of the people that I follow. And Antifa Cog. So, but at no point am it's always going to go either into the community or it's going to go into the show. It's never going to go into my pocket. So, anyways. Yeah. It's something that's going to go oh, you like my eyeliner game. You know what? I want to share something. I am actually going to make, because I've had people at work tell me that, "Oh, I really like your eyeliner, blah 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 blah." And I'm just like I'm still looking for the best eyeliner ever. Let's see. I'm going to switch this back over for a minute. So, I used to use, when I had the best eyeliner game going on. I used to use, oh God, what is her name? Kat Von D. So this shit is the absolute bomb. It is fantastic. It is like it's by far the best eyeliner I've ever used. It's like this is like a marker, a very thin felt tip marker, right? Very, very, I mean, you can draw a straight line. It is amazing. But I had to stop using it because she's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things. But the truth is, I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. I just made a mistake. I was completely uninformed, and because there were people. When was this? I wonder when this was written. 2020. Yeah, and when was her comments? It was much before that, but I think it had a it impacted her brand, and I will never. I mean, it's something that I won't buy Kat Von D, even though it is the best eyeliner, and you can do cat's eyes all day long with it. I can't remember because I'm old. Lady Gaga eyeliner here. This is a close. This here is a close second. Very close second. It's the felt one. It's very close. Very close. But it's not quite there. It's too wet. And not as felty as Kat Von D. But it's also Lady Gaga, and I feel like supporting her more than I do Kat Von D. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for saying that, and support Lady Gaga. Oh my God. No. Nerd teacher. No. not me doing your makeup. You won't want that. We can go out and go someplace. In fact, I'd like to go to France, go to Paris, and go to Sephora because I miss Sephora. Anyways. Oh, really? Kat Von D left the makeup company in February 2020. I just Googled it. Oh, well, maybe that. I sit there and go, I bet you she's still getting paid, though. It's hard to know. It's hard to know, and I want to make it's so funny because I will sit there and think, man, people are playing video games and they're spending their money. By the way, by the way, I have read part. Nerd Teacher sends me a lot of stuff, not a lot, but some stuff to read when she thinks it might be interesting for me. And I appreciate that a lot. I'm still reading some of the stuff that you've sent me. I do appreciate it. It's awesome. But yeah, seriously though, we could. I definitely would want to meet up with you if you come to the UK. When flying isn't scary. I forget what city are you in? I need to get my map out here. Because I'm American. You have to remember that. I mean, I know you are too, but my geography goes England, some of France, and I know where Germany and Spain are. If you get the map out, I might have some problems. Slovakia. Yeah, I am absolutely horrible. I know more than I did. But that's not saying much. I'm just curious where Slovakia is in terms of the reason why I'm asking. Yeah, I wanted to see how far Slovakia, and it's right up above. So I might be coming to Budapest. In fact, I am going to go to Budapest when I can to have my teeth done, some dentistry done, because I need about 11,000 pounds worth of dental surgery done, and I can get it done I can get it done there for about 4, so much cheaper. So if that would be a trip that you could make from where you are in Slovakia to Budapest, that could happen. I feel bad for Hungary. Yeah. I do too. That reminds me, like Viktor Orban in I think it's in Turkey, didn't he? The Tucker Carlson, I think he had his fucking show from there. I was kind of shocked by that, even though I shouldn't be. It's Tucker Carlson, but yeah. So anyways, at some point, if I'm in and you want to see somebody with a sore mouth, because what they do is you go to Hungary for the surgery. You go to, and then they'll come into London and actually put in after everything's healed, they'll put in the implant, because I have a bunch of teeth over here missing. And I'm jealous of Contrapoints' mouth, so I need to get some teeth fixed. God. Anyways, thank you all for coming tonight. I really do appreciate it. I love doing this show. I do apologize. Last week has been kind of light for me, but there's been a reason for that, and that's been because of work. But I have a vacation coming up, and I'm actually going to spend it because I was going to go to Brazil and see my girlfriend, but goddamn COVID. So that's going to have to wait. But I am going to work on the show. I'm working on a script for a video. That's something else that I really want to do is long form videos. Also, I'm going to look for some people to do voiceovers. And I know some random geeks that has a history of that. So if he can help me, that would be cool. But yeah, if you want to support the show, oh, by the way,
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when we go live.
That's right. I have this, I'm a big one on lists because I've been making lists and like for the show, what I want, like headers and stuff like that. And because I do like the little caricature that I have of that's been drawn of me, but I do want to get some more logos and just stuff to make the site look better. But and this is something I was thinking about too. Because for a long time I sat there and thought about using places. I felt bad about using places like Fiverr. I felt bad because a lot of them are like Pakistani and one of my friends who one of my colleagues I work with, he's from Afghanistan. And he told me, he's like, no. He's like, how much are you going to pay this person? And I told him it was about 200 pounds to do some work. And he said, that can feed his entire family for 6 months. So I was just like, God damn. So yeah, so I don't feel as bad at using Fiverr now. Because I do feel like the people that I'm using I'm not taking advantage of them. So anyways, I try to be ethical. But you can't be ethical in capitalism, but I do try. So anyways, yeah. And Nerd Teacher, you said you have a whole 1 episode of a podcast done. Where is this podcast? I didn't know about this. I love your writing, and you. Any person that's quoting Pedagogy of the Oppressed, I fucking have to listen to, because that's an awesome book. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Hit me up on the socials. teapartypodcast.com. Thank you for new people showing up tonight. Thank you, Patreon patrons. Our next now, Nerd Teacher, we have to have a talk. That's not a good place for a podcast. You need to have it on Spotify. You need to have it on Apple Podcasts. You need to if you want to help with that, let me know, because I can help. But I would love any help from y'all. That's amazing. And I'm gonna shut this because I don't want to look at Contrapoints. I'm just so jealous. Anyways. you say it's on most of those. You're just too. Well, what's the name of the podcast so I can search for it? Is it Nerd Teacher or what? Or is it Transcripts? That's the one thing I always laugh. There are some creators that I love. What is his name? I forget his actual name. It's the guy that does Antifa Cog. I forget his name. But he is so horrible about doing self-promotion. Absolutely horrible. Never talks about, I didn't even, Nerd Teacher, duh. Exactly. But I had problems, like I had to check 11 p.m. Is that bad? My brain doesn't turn into a mushroom until like midnight. It's like a pumpkin. But Antifa Cog, he is horrible about self-promotion. Like literally, I went and found his Patreon and I wasn't sure if it was him or not because he doesn't talk about his Patreon. And he puts videos up on TikTok. I mean, his videos, he's like the leftist kind of progressive version of like not trans topics, but like right-wing shoot downs of like Essence of Thought. His videos are, he's got the education, he's got a history in basically fascism and Nazi Germany. So he knows his shit, and the right wing, he just eviscerates their arguments. And it's all kind of, he gives context for it, historical context, and his arguments are all, it's documented really well in his videos. So, and I absolutely love that. So anyways, it is my head's going to turn into a pumpkin soon. So I need to go, but I love you all and have a great night. I will see you all later. Oh, by the way, last video, it made me laugh. I actually had, I went on to Game Stream. I swear to God, I ended this stream. And then I went back on, and Nerd Teacher was talking about it, and she's like, well, I haven't got around to listening to your 4-hour stream. And I was like, 4-hour stream? I only did 2 hours. And then I realized it didn't stop. It made me laugh. I was just like, oh shit. So 2 hours of the show and then 2-hour game stream. So I might just do it on Twitch from now on, my game, but I don't know. It makes me kind of mad too, because you used to be able to change the gaming stuff in Restream, but it doesn't seem like you can anymore. So I don't know. Anyways, yeah, no 4-hour stream with this one. I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. And this is kind of like what do you call it? Deadpool. Jamie J, you're coming in at the end, the very end. You missed the whole show. We love you though. By the way, Jamie J, Gamey Gay, are you still doing Mastodon? Because anybody that's on Mastodon, let me know. Send me the links. I think I already have the rest of you on the Mastodon. But like I said at the beginning of the show, I am going to try and keep doing Mastodon. Because I think it's important to do the whole what would you call it, like linear internet that what it was before algorithms took over and ruined everything. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to go back to that, and I'm actually going to see if I can embed my stream into my website, so everything's kind of self-contained at martyabernathy.com, everybody. Jamie J, I get the social media is distressing, and you have to do what you have to do to keep yourself healthy and fit and all that. I totally understand it. I literally took probably a 3-year break from social media. I was way back. In fact, I'm rare. I probably get on Facebook maybe once every 3 days. No, I used to be on it every day. I used to be on it at work. I'm not now. But I will say that you can post to Twitter if you use IFTT. You can post from Mastodon, your tweets from Mastodon to Twitter, and that's what I'm going to do. But that's mainly where I'm going to be. So anyways, I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. Oh, and Jamie J, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you, everyone who is a patron, and all of you that are not. I love you all.